of the view that the relentless rise in property prices in Sydney and Melbourne over the last 25 years hasn't been an unalloyed good thing. It's obviously benefited those who've owned property, who've become wealthy as a result, but it has adversely affected Sydney's international competitiveness, and it's also contributed to a decline in the home ownership rate, especially among people under the age of 35. Australia's home ownership rate, New South Wales' home ownership rate at the last census in 2016 was the lowest it had been since the census of 1954. For people younger than 35, the home ownership rate is now the lowest it's been since the census of 1947. And while rising house prices aren't the only reason for that, they've certainly been a significant contributor. And the social consequences of declining rates of home ownership and increasing levels of household debt are going to be felt for a long time to come as people go through their working lives without ever having acquired a home and expect to live under a retirement income system that assumes that most people have zero housing costs. The high level of debt that those who have made it into the property market have had to incur in order to get onto the property market ladder has also made Australia's economy more vulnerable to rises in interest rates. Now, that doesn't mean that we want to see housing affordability improve in the way that it improved in the United States a decade ago by prices falling a large amount over a very short period. The economic consequences of that, to say nothing of the implications for Australia's financial system, would be potentially catastrophic. But a gradual decline in prices over a 2 or 3 year period, especially if it were to happen without big rises in interest rates or big rises in unemployment, could take house prices back to levels relative to incomes that would make housing affordable again for a broader proportion of Australia's population. And I think that's potentially a good thing. So while no one in the property game wants to see prices go down indefinitely, and no one anywhere wants to see them fall a lot in a short period of time, the kind of experience that Sydney and Melbourne have had over the last year or so, if it were to continue at those sort of rates for 2 or 3 years, would be painful for some, but I think could actually be a good thing from a longer term perspective for Australia's society as a whole.